This is the story of my trauma and how EMDR therapy changed my life. The odd thing is, I didn't even know that I had trauma until after I did a lot of my trauma work and was able to recognize all the traumatic things that had taken place in my life. I was in a dark place, having thoughts of suicide, not because I wanted to die, but rather because it was really hard for me to continue living in the state that I was living in. I didn't know anything about EMDR therapy, and I didn't know that I had suffered any trauma. I didn't think that I had suffered any trauma, so I didn't pursue that therapy right away. I didn't have the time or the money or the resources, but eventually I came to the realization that I needed to try and pursue this therapy, even if I didn't know what it was. I thought I was going to deal with the trauma of my illness, of my health situation that had befallen me. However, as my therapist and I started exploring the triggers surrounding my feelings of anger and my feelings of hopelessness, my feelings of helplessness, it actually led back to a lot of trauma between me and my mother. So, in fact, my therapy began working on the issues and the trauma that I had suffered as a child. It became apparent that I had suffered a lot of other trauma. There was the abandonment by my father. There was periods of homelessness as I left home when I was 14. There was an abusive relationship. There was the death of a parent from cancer. There was countless numbers of betrayals from friends, from a coworker, from a partnership, as well as the experience with my illness and subsequent disability, not to mention my total loss of financial security that I had suffered as a result. Clearly, I had suffered a lot of trauma, but I didn't know that. I was just a regular person, and I didn't even know what the word trauma was. I learned later as a therapist, as a clinician, that trauma can relate to any disturbing event or memory that we've sustained. I worked with my EMDR therapist to resolve those traumas and the issues that had arisen. In that process, I really became liberated. During each and every session, I experienced revelations. Everything just made sense. And sometimes it takes a while to get to that point, but the process of EMDR is so enlightening and so healing, so cathartic, and so complete. There is no homework to do afterwards. The results are immediately incorporated into your life, and your whole life changes as a result. What didn't change is who I am, who I've always been. Except now I've become more able to be who I believe I was always meant to be. I'm able to be truly me, truly myself, to pursue my dreams, to pursue the things I want, free from pain, free from suffering, free from bad memories. It allowed me to heal. It allowed me to recover. It allowed me to restore certain relationships in my life and to come to peace and terms with others, as well as situations in my life, and really bring me a profound sense of peace, as well as a solid grounding in who I am. I would recommend EMDR to someone who's easily frustrated or someone who is easily startled, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, some depression, panic, or anger. So as you can see, I'm not just a practitioner of EMDR, I'm also a client.